So today we are going to start looking at how to edit our photos that we've been taking. So in this class, we are going to be using a program called Adobe Lightroom. It is a really nice app because it gives you some really basic editing options. So you don't have to be super computer savvy and work with a lot of stuff where it can get confusing. It's very kind of straightforward to work with. There's also a free version of Lightroom that you can download on your iPad or your phones and use Lightroom to edit your own personal pictures later on. It works pretty much the same way. Many of you have probably heard of Adobe Photoshop. That's another program that can be used to edit photos. But that one has a lot of moving parts to it, a lot of different pieces. So it can be a little bit overwhelming for someone that's just starting off with editing. So it's great for editing photos, but it's also great for doing a whole lot of other things. Like I personally have done posters in there. Artists will create, crazy surrealist composition images where they're layering different photos together. All of it really cool. All of that done in Photoshop. Okay, but that's something that we're not really going to be focusing on in this class. Later on, there will be opportunities, so especially if you continue taking photo, where we will start to look at Photoshop and some of those features. But for what we're doing in class, Lightroom, that's all we need. Okay? So we'll walk you through it step by step. Okay? But before we dive into the actual editing, we have to start to look at our pictures. Okay, so here I have my folder. Okay, it's labeled with my name. When I open it, I have folders inside for each project. So I have my composition, I have my abstract forms. So I'm just going to start with composition. Okay, so this is really what your folder should be looking like. For every project you shoot, you should be making a new folder labeled as that project. So that way things are nice and organized. Okay, so I'm going to click on my composition. And here I have all of my photos listed off. And I have 57 pictures that I took. Okay, so you should have at least 50 for composition. Okay, because that was the goal. Okay, I'm not going to be editing every single picture. Some are good, some are not so good, some are awesome. Okay, so we're going to kind of pick and choose. Your contact sheet that you turned in, I went in and I put little marks on the pictures that I thought were successful. So they were just suggestions of images that I think you should edit, okay? Because they, my eye was drawn to them. I liked what you did with it, whether it was composition or the subject matter, okay? Or it was just a really cool picture for me to look at. So definitely take a look at the contact sheets. You'll see in Google Classroom, there's an edited version of your contact sheet, and you'll see my little markings, okay? So I did that for everyone that turned in contact sheets. If you did not turn in a contact sheet, please make sure you turn in a contact sheet today. Okay, for every project, you need to turn in a contact sheet. Okay, and it should include all the pictures that you shot. Okay. Right. For picking our pictures, okay, right now in this view, I can't really see any of my pictures. If I double click on a picture, it is going to open it up in preview, okay, which doesn't do much of anything. You can't really edit, you can't do much with it. So just double clicking is not really what you're going to be doing. The best way to kind of view your pictures, so you can kind of pick and choose which ones you like, is to change the overall view. So I know we did look at this before, okay, and I had you, go in from icons to lists and all of that. But if you go into showing it as a gallery, what's nice is that it makes it, sorry, prematurely clicking on stuff. Okay. it kind of gives you this nice gallery view. So you have this big view of your picture, and then on the bottom, you'll see this little sidebar where you can scroll through all your pictures that you shot. Okay? So I've got all my pictures. I can use the arrows on my keyboard, scroll left, scroll right, see all my pictures and all their glory. Okay. To kind of check off the pictures that you like, I personally like to use this thing called tags. Okay, so you'll see over on the left-hand side of my window, okay, we got tags. We have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, gray, all the tags. Okay, I'm going to pick a color. Okay, for the sake of what we're doing, we're going to do blue because that's one of my favorite colors. So as I'm looking through my pictures, I'm going to see if, if that's a picture I think I should edit. Okay, when you're looking at pictures, if you should edit, you should be looking at, does it meet the requirements of the project? Okay, is it sharp and in focus? Remember, blurry pictures are bad. If your picture is blurry, there's no way to really fix it. Okay. Some of you might have pictures that are similar to this, where you have like this little sliver of sharpness, and that is okay. Okay, because this is kind of done on purpose. It's called shallow depth of field, which we will kind of get into a little bit more detail later on. But you're going to go through, you're going to look at your pictures, you're going to see which ones you like, which ones are strong. So like this example here would not be a good picture. Okay, what composition device am I using? I have no idea. Is it S curve, C curve, bird's eye, worm's eye? It's just kind of an overall picture of all the shrubbery. Okay, so you really want to look at each picture individually and see if it meets the criteria. As far as, composition is important, but you are able to crop in Lightroom. So you will be able to go in and edit that. So if you have, some weird distractions. So in this picture up at the top left-hand corner, I can see part of, a garbage can that's on the curb. I can crop that out in my editing later on. Okay. So kind of keep that in mind. You don't have to have perfect composition because we can tweak that to an extent later on. Okay. So as we go through, we'll kind of go in and select pictures. Okay, so I like this picture. So I'm over here. I'm just going to click, let's see, on the right-hand side. Hey, add tags. I'm just going to click blue. Okay, and it added that tag. Okay, so I'll kind of scroll. Like these some of the shadow pictures I like. Give it a tag, blue. Okay. I'm just going to go in. And you can have some pictures that are similar and edit them because, one might edit a little bit better than another depending on kind of what you do with it. You'll see that Lightroom has a lot of neat options to it. So you'll have a chance to, make your pictures, more vibrant in color. You can make them a little bit darker, a little bit lighter. You can turn them into complete black and white if you want. So lots of options in terms of that. So it's okay if you have, some pictures tagged that are similar. We'll do this one. So this one, looks a little dark overall where I have the plants, but I might be able to tweak that when I edit. Not 100% sure, but that's okay. Overall, because of the weather that we had, it was so nice and sunny when we took our pictures. Chances are that you probably have good solid pictures to begin with. So you were not going to have to do a lot of crazy edits to them because you already had pretty decent lighting. So I'm just going through, and I'm not really keeping track of how many pictures I'm tagging. I'm just looking through, and pictures that I think look cool, I'm just gonna tag them. There is a certain amount of pictures that are required as a minimum for you to edit and turn in, and that does vary project by project. So I would definitely take a look at the requirements in Google Classroom and kind of see what those are, like kind of what that minimum is. If you go above and beyond and you edit more pictures than are required, you will get some more points. So we'll look at rubrics at some point, but I know in the assignments there is a rubric attached, so you can kind of peruse that and kind of see what's going on with that. So, okay, I'm pretty content with what I got there. Some variety. For example, this project for composition, I don't need a specific number of each individual composition to edit. It's really just the best of the best. Okay, so you're just picking the best pictures that you shot and kind of going from there. So once you have all of your photos tagged that you like, we are going to put them in their own folder to kind of make things easier to locate. So at this point, on the left-hand side, you remember the tags over here? We had the red, orange, all the way down. Whatever color you picked, so I did blue for mine. If I click that, it's going to show every picture that I tagged as that color. It's going to show every picture. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select all those pictures. So the fastest way to do that is to click on one, and then you can do Command A on your keyboard, and you can see all of my pictures got selected. You can also kind of click and drag a window over all of them. Okay, that also works. So whichever one you want, Command A kind of automatically selects everything for you that's in the window, or you can drag. But once you have all of your pictures selected, we are going to put them in a new folder. Okay, so up top, okay, we have the little circle with the 3 little dots. When I click on that, I have an option to make a new folder with selection. So when I click on that, it's going to make a new folder, and I can give it a name. And I'm going to name it to Edit. So that way I know that those are my pictures that I am going to edit. Okay. So if we look at kind of our original view here, okay, all those pictures that I selected are in that To Edit folder. Okay, so they just automatically got separated out from all of my original ones. So they are kind of living in their own little world. Okay. So now you're going to have 10 minutes to tag your pictures. So look through them, look at your contact sheet, see which ones, I thought you should edit, see which ones you really like, kind of go back and forth between the two. Feel free to ask a neighbor if you're not sure, ask a friend, ask your table mates, see what their thoughts on what pictures you should edit. But you're really looking for your strongest pictures, the ones that you're most proud of, that fulfill the assignment. So you'll have 10 minutes. There's going to be a counter that's going to pop up on the screen. It's going to count down to 10 minutes. And yeah, the goal is to get things tagged and get all your tagged pictures in a new folder labeled To Edit. And then we will move on from there. So the idea is we're doing kind of section at a time just to not overwhelm you. So we'll tag and folder, then we'll move on into the actual Lightroom stuff. Okay, so you have 10 minutes. If you don't finish in the 10 minutes, don't freak out. You will have a little bit of time, after all the video to kind of finish stuff up. But at least if you have stuff tagged, then you should be in pretty good shape. So, hopefully, you all were able to tag a lot of awesome pictures and get them into a new folder for editing. So that way, everything's all contained, easy to find. Once again, if you did not get a chance to do all the things, it is okay. Once we're done with all the videos, you will be able to go back and finish anything that you needed. So now we're going to move into Lightroom. So exciting. Okay, so a Lightroom, like I said, is an Adobe product. It is an application on your computers. So just like we did, one of the first few days of class, we're gonna open up the app. Whatever folder you have open right now, if you click on applications, you'll see all the apps pop up. Depending on what view you have, it might look a little bit different, but all the same. But you're gonna look for Adobe Lightroom CC. Adobe Lightroom CC. Okay, so you'll double click on that. It's going to open up inside, and then you'll see the actual app, Adobe Lightroom. Okay, so you'll double click on that. It might, verify some stuff, make sure that you're properly logged in and all of that, but it will eventually open. All of the Lightroom products are a little hefty. So because of that, it might take a little bit of time for them to open, but that is okay. So your view will most likely look like I have here. You won't have any pictures just because this is the first time you're opening it. As you can see, I've been doing all sorts of crazy edits over the years, but this is roughly what it will look like. There's been some updates over the years, so you can see I have this weird notification that presets have moved. Okay, great, awesome. Thanks for letting me know. But overall, things are kind of where they've been the last few years. Okay. If you do not see on the left-hand side this whole kind of menu where it's add photos, learn, discover, my profile, featured, all that stuff, in the upper left-hand corner, there's this little icon. Okay? So if I click it, okay, that whole menu disappears. If I click it again, that menu pops up. So you really kind of need this because this is how we're going to be importing all of our pictures moving forward. So hopefully you're able to open up Lightroom. As long as you logged into Adobe the correct way when we were making contact sheets for Bridge, you should be in good shape. If you're having issues, if it's saying your trial has ended, you will have to talk to tech. Okay, that is not something that we can fix on our end. That is something that tech has to do, like through their whole system when they're working with the licensing with Adobe. So if you're getting some weird issues, you have to go to tech. So we'll write you a pass to go to tech. You'll bring your laptop with, and you'll say, hey, I'm having trouble logging into Adobe. I have this thing saying that my trial has ended, or I can't log in, or whatever it is. So you'll bring your laptop to tech, and hopefully they will be able to fix it for you. Okay, so that's kind of opening up Lightroom. Okay, so I went ahead and I deleted everything that I had in Lightroom because it was all from years past. Nothing was really that crucial to me. Just so I have kind of this blank slate like you have. So once you open Lightroom, you have to add your photos. Okay, because with no photos, there's nothing to edit. So you'll see in the upper left-hand corner, there's this little button that says add photos. Okay, so when you click on that, it's going to kind of automatically put you in some weird place under favorites, but all of your pictures are located on your desktop. Okay, so on the left-hand side, you'll click desktop. You will find your folder with your name, composition, to edit, and there are all of your pictures that you tagged. So you will be able to select all of them and add all of them all at once into Lightroom to edit. So best way to do this is to click on one of the pictures and then do Command A, and that will select everything. So Command A selects everything. Okay, this is one of the reasons why we separated out your pictures. So it just streamlines everything, makes everything so much easier. Because if you have to go back and back and forth to figure out which pictures are your good ones, it's going to take you forever. Okay, but this way, they're all together. You'll hit Command A to select all of them, and then you'll click Review for Import. And it's going to, give you little thumbnails similar to your contact sheet of all of your pictures. And you can kind of review them like, yes, these are the ones I want. If there's one in there that you are like, oh my God, why did I pick that one? You can uncheck it, and then it just won't be added to Lightroom. So this is kind of your review. If everything looks good, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see add number photos. So however many photos you have that you picked, you'll click that, and it is just going to automatically add them into Lightroom for you. So you'll be able to start your edits. So there are different views of how you kind of see all your stuff. So right now, these are kind of your thumbnails. So just like your contact sheet. On the bottom, there's kind of this menu bar that has different squares and rectangles. So as you click them, it gives you different looks. Okay. We're going to be going with the one where it's just your single view, because we're really just going to be focusing on one picture at a time. So single view. Okay. And since, editing you'll see is pretty quick, So might as well just edit all your pictures that you liked and upload all of them, right? Because it doesn't hurt to do. Okay, so we'll start with, our first one. So here I have this picture of a sewer grate. So yeah, this works as a C curve. Okay, so I have this picture, and the first edit I want to do with every single picture is cropping. Okay, cropping. Not all your pictures will need cropping. Some of you might need to do a lot. Some of you might need to do a little bit. Okay, or you might not need to do any at all. Okay, depending on how you composed your picture and you shot it. But cropping is kind of the first thing we're going to do. So we're going to run through all the pictures and just crop them. Okay. So to crop your pictures, you'll see on the right-hand side, there is this vertical menu bar. When you hover over the icon, it tells you what it is. Okay. So we have presets up top, edit, crop and rotate, healing, masking, versions. Okay. We're going to go to the cropping. And this icon probably looks similar. So if you ever cropped pictures in, Word or PowerPoint or anything like that, it's kind of this universal symbol. Okay. So I'm going to click that. Okay. And you'll notice that little menu pops up. Okay. So depending on my picture, maybe my picture's, on the side or it's upside down, I can rotate it. Okay. So if I decide, maybe that picture would look better upside down. Okay, you can do that. Okay, or maybe you want it flip-flopped. Okay, vertically or horizontally. Now you can do that as well. So that's kind of that rotate and flip option. The straighten. Okay, that just kind of turns, so you can see that my picture's shifting, rotating one way or the other. This is more if you have a horizon that you need to fix and tweak. So sometimes, when we're holding our cameras, we might not hold them perfectly horizontal or vertical. So our horizon line might be a little shifted. I might have an example where I'll kind of show that. But you can do that so that way you have your horizon line where the ground and the sky meet, okay, is straight and where it should be. And you'll see when you click on that, there's little guidelines that will help you with all of that. It does end up cropping your picture, so just be wary of that. Okay. Other than that, the cropping is kind of standard. On the picture itself, you'll see that the corners have these yellow creamy lines around them. At the top and sides, you have that, and those are, your drag ones where you can kind of drag, okay, to crop. Okay, so really pretty much the same as what you would see in Word or PowerPoint or any of those other apps. Even on your phones and iPads, I'm sure it looks pretty much the same. Okay, so just for fun, I'm just gonna totally crop this in a weird way, because why not? Okay. What's the nice thing about photography is you can experiment, you can try different things. So we'll do that, right? Maybe made it a little bit stronger, made my rule of thirds a little more prominent, gave more focus to kind of that negative space of the openings that are in the grate. So I'm pretty content with that. Right? If I'm happy, I'm going to hit return on my keyboard, and it's just going to automatically crop it. Okay? So it's getting rid of all the stuff. Okay? So I'm going to go to my next picture. Okay, and same thing, I can go in and crop as needed. This one I don't necessarily think it really needs much of anything. What's nice about Lightroom is you can see we have this light grid on it, so it kind of helps you with that whole rule of thirds thing. Okay, this one, So we've got, you know, from the pine tree, all the sap kind of come in. We're really gonna just kind of focus in on that. So I'm just gonna crop in just really tight on that, so that really becomes my focus. Okay, and you know, your proportions can be whatever you want them to be. It could be a square, it could be like this crazy thin, long, you know, dimension. It's totally up to you. Just do whatever you think looks good. Okay. The main thing is if you have any sort of distractions, okay, that is what you're really gonna crop out. So this is a nice example. So here, this is like, I don't even know what it is. It's one of those poles that stands up to like block cars from going into a playground area. And then we have this building behind it with a porta potty. Well, I really don't want the porta potty there. So I'm going to crop it out just like that. And all of a sudden, makes it a little bit stronger because I don't have that weird thing. And if you notice, you know, my coloring, I have more of kind of those orangey reds up top and then more of the grays on the bottom. So it just kind of works out overall. So cropping, you know, really good for getting rid of distractions, you know. So maybe I don't like some of those dead leaves that were up towards the top, and just crop those out. In some of your contact sheets, I went ahead and I like drew around your pictures a little bit. So you might notice there's like weird boxes with like borders. That is me kind of suggesting the cropping. I didn't do that for everyone. It's just kind of if something kind of caught my eye, it's like, oh, that would probably be a lot stronger if it was cropped a little bit differently. So kind of pay attention to that. You know, you can try different things. Ask a friend. See what their opinion is. And it's just, you know, cropping is all about it's kind of making your pictures look stronger, essentially. We'll go crazy with this one. Do something like that, maybe. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's do it. Okay. So that's the cropping. Okay, so super easy. And like I said, I would have that be the first thing you do. Just go picture after picture after picture, crop. Okay? And then from there, you can dive into your actual edits. Do another round of 10 minutes where you'll have a chance to add all of your photos and start to crop them in Lightroom. Okay, so once again, you know, that timer is going to pop up. It's going to have the nice calming music for 10 minutes and it's going to blast, you know, when the 10 minutes is up. Okay, don't rush. Okay, we're doing this kind of section by section so you can try a little bit. If you need help, you can ask a neighbor to help and kind of go back and forth. But I want everyone to, by the end of the 10 minutes, get all of their pictures in Lightroom, so all the ones that they plan to edit, and to start cropping them. Okay? If you don't get through cropping all of your pictures, that is okay. You will be able to go back and do the cropping. Okay, but I want you to have that time to try it while this new skill is fresh in your mind, and kind of go from there.